across your hand.
What is your very first memory? Close your eyes and travel back through the corridors of your mind, past graduations, first days of school, scraped knees and lost teeth. For most of us, this first flicker of consciousness emerges around the age of 3 or 4, but what about the time before that? You were alive, you were learning, you were you. So why is the door to that entire period of your existence so firmly shut? This shared void in our collective human experience is one of life's great personal mysteries. In our journey together, we will embark on an exploration to understand this strange phenomenon. Imagine your arrival, a moment of immense biological and sensory drama. After months in a quiet world, you were propelled into a new reality. Your senses were overwhelmed. This experience wasn't passive, your brain was actively processing it all. Neurons fired, connections were made, and your body responded instinctively. Every sensation was data for a rapidly developing mind. So why does such a profound event leave no trace in our memory? The answer? Infantile amnesia, a normal part of human development. The brain of a newborn is still under construction. The tools for long-term memory aren't fully assembled yet. We'll explore the immaturity of brain structures like the hippocampus. The story of why you can't remember being born is the story of how you became you. What exactly is memory? It's a complex process. Memory is a dynamic biological process where the brain encodes, stores, and retrieves information. A memory is formed when the brain strengthens connections between neurons. This network is a memory trace. Recalling a memory replays the experience as a reconstruction. We are talking about the physical architecture of your mind being constantly reshaped by your life. It is the foundation of identity itself. Our sense of self is built on the scaffolding of memory. Let's get specific. Memory isn't just one system. Our brains have multiple types of memory, each with a unique role. The most important distinction is between explicit and implicit memory. Explicit memory is conscious recall, facts, events, and concepts. It relies on the hippocampus, which binds details into lasting memories. Implicit memory, or procedural memory, is unconscious, skills, and habits. It's the memory of how to do things like riding a bike or tying shoes. These two systems develop at different times. Implicit memory comes online first. Newborns excel at learning procedures and skills, even before forming stories. But the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, needed for explicit memory, mature much later. That's why infants learn, but can't recall their early life as a story. Their silent partner is working, but the storyteller hasn't arrived yet. How does the brain turn a fleeting experience into a lasting memory? This transformation is a 3-step process: encoding, consolidation, and retrieval. Think of it as a librarian handling a new book. First, the book is understood and cataloged, then placed on the correct shelf. Finally, you need to find that book later. If any step fails, the memory is lost. For a newborn, the system is just getting set up, and there are breakdowns at every stage, making it difficult to encode a stable memory. Next comes consolidation, where short-term memories are stabilized into long-term ones. Finally, there is retrieval, consciously accessing stored information. Without words or a personal timeline, there are no keywords to search the library. The memory becomes impossible to find. Memory is a complex process, but there's a period in our lives, birth to about age 3, that's almost entirely blank. This is called infantile amnesia, a universal experience where our earliest years vanish from conscious recall. Despite rapid learning and emotional growth, our brains simply didn't preserve these memories. It's not a sharp cutoff, but a gradual emergence of fragmented recollections. We learned, felt, and experienced, but lack the autobiographical record. Studies show young children can recall recent events, but these memories fade as the brain develops. Early memories are fragile, easily erased by the brain's relentless growth. The real mystery: what forces cause this universal memory wipe? Sigmund Freud was among the first to ponder infantile amnesia, proposing that early memories are repressed due to disturbing emotions and desires. He believed our minds build a protective wall, hiding chaotic early experiences deep in the unconscious. Freud argued these memories still influence us even if we can't access them. However, modern science finds little evidence for widespread repression. Today we look to brain development, not hidden trauma, for answers. The real reason we forget isn't psychological drama, it's biological immaturity. Our brains simply weren't ready to record memories for the long haul. Modern science explains infantile amnesia as a result of brain development, not repression. The hippocampus, crucial for memory, is immature in early childhood and flooded with new neurons, disrupting memory stability. Imagine building with Lego bricks while the foundation keeps changing. Memories can't stick. Rapid neurogenesis overwrites memories before they settle. Other regions, like the prefrontal cortex, are also under construction, lacking the ability to organize experiences into a personal narrative. Without this structure, early experiences are just disconnected sensations. The brain's priority is growth, not memory storage. Our earliest years are a jumble, not a story. We forget not because of trauma, but because our brains were still under construction. To understand why early memories vanish, picture the infant brain as a city under rapid construction. Neurons are born at staggering rates, forming the brain's basic architecture. The focus is on building connections, not preserving moments. By age 2, the brain is 80% of its adult weight, but the priority is wiring, not memory. Synaptogenesis creates a dense network, fueling learning but causing instability. The machinery for detailed, lasting memories simply isn't ready. The brain is preparing for the future, not recording its own creation. Our earliest experiences are lost in the rush of growth. In early childhood, the brain is a jungle of connections, twice as many as in adulthood. This hyperconnectivity fuels learning and adaptability but creates neural static. Memories are scattered, signals diffused, making lasting recall nearly impossible. The infant brain absorbs everything, but can't prioritize or filter. Experiences are fleeting impressions, not clear narratives. The system is built for absorption, not organization. Memories from this time are vague flashes of emotion or sensation. They're not easily retrieved because they were never cleanly encoded. The dense jungle of connections made it impossible for any single path to stand out. A toddler's brain must undergo a critical editing process to become an efficient adult brain. This process, called synaptic pruning, eliminates less frequently used synapses. It's a use-it-or-lose-it principle. Connections strengthened by experience are preserved, while weak ones are pruned, streamlining the brain's circuitry. Like a gardener trimming a rose bush, this process clears noise, allowing faster communication between neurons. The brain sculpts itself, adapting to its environment. However, this pruning comes at a cost. Early memories encoded in eliminated connections are lost forever. This explains why infantile amnesia is a gradual fading, as the brain dismantles the scaffolding of early experiences. At the center of this story of neurological change lies our key memory-making structure, the hippocampus. As we've seen, this part of the brain is responsible for consolidating new explicit memories, turning them from fragile, short-term experiences into stable, long-term knowledge. But in the first few years of life, the hippocampus is actually a place of profound instability. It's one of the last brain structures to reach full maturity, and its developmental timeline is a crucial piece of the infantile amnesia puzzle. It's really like a library whose head librarian is still in training and whose building is under constant renovation. One of the most disruptive forces at play here is the high rate of neurogenesis, the birth of new neurons. In the infant and toddler brain, the hippocampus is a hotbed of this activity. And while this constant influx of new cells is vital for building a flexible and powerful learning machine, it creates a major problem for memory retention. Studies, especially in animals, have shown that high levels of neurogenesis in the hippocampus can actively degrade existing memories. The new neurons need to integrate into the existing circuits, a process that involves rewiring and disrupting the very networks that store past experiences. The new bricks destabilize the old walls. Think of a memory as a precise pattern of connections between a group of established neurons. When a brand new neuron wedges itself into this network, it can break those delicate connections or alter the pathway of the signal. The original pattern is disrupted, and the memory becomes corrupted or inaccessible. It's a classic stability-plasticity dilemma. The brain needs plasticity, the ability to change and adapt, to learn new things. But memory really requires stability, the ability to maintain patterns over time. In early life, the scale is tipped heavily in favor of plasticity. The brain prioritizes its ability to grow and incorporate new information over its ability to preserve the old. This hippocampal immaturity and high rate of neurogenesis perfectly explain the timeline of infantile amnesia. The process of neuron birth and integration is at its highest in the first couple of years of life and then gradually slows down. As the rate of neurogenesis decreases, the hippocampal circuits become more stable. This increasing stability allows memories to be held for longer and longer periods. It's no coincidence that our first memories begin to emerge around the ages of 3 or 4, precisely when the hippocampus is becoming a more stable, less chaotic environment. The library renovations are finally starting to wind down, allowing the first books to be properly shelved for the long term. Beyond brain development, language shapes our ability to remember. The acquisition of language fundamentally changes how we process and store experiences. Before words, our world is raw sensory data. Language provides tools to manage concepts. A bright object becomes the sun. Words are handles to grasp experiences. You use language to recall memories. Memory is structured as a narrative provided by language. It allows us to sequence events and establish cause and effect. Before vocabulary, children lacked tools for memory narratives. Verbalizing experiences encodes them into memory. They're building a verbal scaffold, making it easier to retrieve later. Without this, early memories are like trying to catch smoke. Without a verbal hook, it's lost forever. With language comes a crucial milestone, the emergence of a sense of self. Around 18 months, self-awareness dawns. Demonstrated by the mirror test, toddlers recognize themselves. This marks the beginning of self-concept. Once a child has a stable sense of self, their memories can be organized differently. It becomes, I was running in the park, with I as the anchor. Lasting autobiographical memories require a trinity of developments: mature brain hardware, language, and a sense of self. These converge around ages 3 to 4, lifting the veil of infantile amnesia, allowing our first memories to be written. While language and a sense of self provide the structure for our memories, emotions provide the ink. Our feelings act as a powerful highlighter, marking certain experiences as important and worthy of being remembered. The brain doesn't treat all information equally. An event that is emotionally charged, whether with joy, fear, surprise, or sadness, triggers the release of stress hormones and activates a key brain structure called the amygdala. The amygdala, located right next to the hippocampus, works in close partnership with it. When the amygdala is fired up, it sends a signal to the hippocampus that says, pay attention, this is important, save this. This emotional boost significantly enhances the process of memory consolidation. It's why you can remember your first kiss or a frightening car accident with crystal clarity years later, while the memory of what you had for lunch last Tuesday has vanished completely. The emotion acts like glue, binding the various elements of the memory, the sights, the sounds, the context, into a much stronger and more durable trace. Events that are emotionally neutral are less likely to be consolidated for the long term. They are deemed less important for our survival and well-being. Emotion is the brain's natural filter for deciding what is worth the effort of storing permanently. However, an infant's emotional world, while intense, is also very different from an adult's. Their emotions are powerful, but also more generalized and less nuanced. A baby might feel broad states of comfort or distress, but they have not yet learned to label or understand complex emotions like pride, guilt, or nostalgia. The cognitive framework for interpreting and categorizing their emotional responses is still under construction. Furthermore, the connections between the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex, which helps regulate and interpret emotions, are still maturing. The system for using emotions to tag memories is not yet running at full capacity. This means that even if an infant has a powerful emotional experience, their brain may not be equipped to use that emotional charge to create a lasting, detailed memory. The glue might be there, but the pieces it's supposed to hold together are still indistinct, and the craftsman is still learning how to apply it. As a child grows, their emotional intelligence develops. They learn the names for their feelings and understand them in the context of social situations. This growing emotional sophistication, combined with the maturing neural circuits, allows emotion to become the powerful memory enhancer that it is for us as adults, helping us to create the vivid, emotionally resonant memories that define our personal history. Infantile amnesia seems like a closed case, given the immature hippocampus, rampant neurogenesis, synaptic pruning, and lack of language. Yet, the idea of remembering one's own birth persists. People claim vivid memories of the delivery room. It's a romantic notion, the ultimate origin story. But the scientific community remains skeptical. A newborn's brain isn't equipped to encode such a complex memory. It's a chaotic flood of sensation, lacking narrative structure. Neurologically, conscious recollection of birth is considered a biological impossibility. Where do vivid, deeply felt memories come from? Memory is not a perfect recording device. It is a creative and reconstructive process, susceptible to suggestion and imagination. Birth memories are classic examples of false memories, reconstructions that feel real but aren't based on direct experience. These aren't lies but are constructed unconsciously from family stories. Elizabeth Loftus showed how easily false memories could be implanted. Remembering one's birth tells us more about the adult mind's creative power. Our identity is built on the stories we tell ourselves, even impossible memories. So, we arrive back at the fundamental question: why can't you remember being born? The answer is a beautiful convergence of biology and psychology. Your brain, in its earliest stage, was busy building the very machinery of consciousness and memory. The grand event of your birth was simply too early for the premiere. The very process of rapid learning paradoxically overwrites the experiences of the day. Memory is not just a biological process but a cognitive one. It requires a developed sense of self. The conscious, storytelling, remembering self did not yet exist in that moment. Infantile amnesia is the silent, unwritten first chapter of everyone's autobiography. The story of you begins not with your first breath but with your first memory. This exploration into our forgotten beginnings leaves us with a profound sense of wonder. The fact that we cannot remember our own birth is a testament to the incredible transformation we all undergo. The self we inhabit today is the product of a miraculous journey of neurological and psychological construction. This understanding should change how we view memory itself, not a perfect record, but a living story our brain tells itself. This makes our first remembered moments even more precious. The instant the lights came on and the internal storyteller began. It reveals the intricate dance between our physical brain and our abstract mind. Instead, feel a sense of awe for the incredible, unseen work that was taking place. You don't remember being born, but your entire being is a living testament to that momentous arrival.